Hey there, boys and girls. We are live on the set at the Sargent County Museum here on the edge of Foreman, North Dakota. If you haven't seen it in my other videos, they lost a roof over here on one of the buildings. And I think sitting behind me here, this Bobcat, Skidsteer, Feller, Buncher, 6-wheeled conglomeration, doesn't run. And it's really hard to move around. We had to hook 2 skid steers with tracks to pull it out of the building. They drove it in there, who knows how many years ago. And so the board members asked me if I could come get it running for them. I don't know a ton about these things. I don't know a ton about diesels. But hey, you know, we'll try to give back to the community, give it a crack, at least get it running so they can move it out of the way. And then when they get the building repaired, they can put it back in there. So let's take a look at this thing. So I think Melrose, Ingersoll Rand, Bobcat, whoever bought the rights to Feller Buncher from Feller Buncher. So I think what these things are is for grabbing trees and moving trees around. We don't have many trees in the Dakotas, so I haven't seen many of these around. They built them, I don't know where. I assume they built them here, shipped them to places with trees, to take down trees, so they had less trees. So there's, yeah, a claw down there and a claw up there. You can see when the building came down, it damaged the ROPS. That's the rollover protection system, and it got the door pretty good. So it's all fixable, not too bad. I don't know why they painted these yellow as opposed to Bobcat white, but it is what it is. So these two, this is like a walking tandem. They pivot right there, and then the rear is on its own axle, and it's got a hydraulic cylinder where I think you can raise the machine up and down so that you're for inclines or something. I don't know. These tires are low, and they got this sweet bead protector on them, and I'm guessing there's a valve stem underneath that big cap there, but I don't know. I don't want to put much air in those tires because they don't look good. This thing's heavy. It's hard to drag. I don't know much about it. It's yeah, I don't know if that serial number is going to tell us much. It's got a diesel of sorts in it, I'm told. Oh, Clark probably owned Bobcat at that time. The Melrose brothers had a manufacturing facility in Gwinner, and then they got together with the Keller brothers, who'd built a skid steer of sorts to clean out a chicken barn in turkey barn in Rosse, Minnesota. There's a great video on all that on PBS if you want to check it out. And Melrose got together with the Kellers, and then they started making the Bobcats. Before that, Melrose was making harrows and plows and drags and all kinds of sorts. And they even made sprock hoops. I think they bought that from Kirschman Industries. I think those were built in Bismarck. There's an electric Bobcat over there, like an old 600 series. And then Melrose got bought by Clark, and then they got bought out by Ingersoll Rand, and then Ingersoll Rand sold them to Doosan. So it's owned by a South Korean company as of currently, but they're still built in Gwinner, North Dakota. Some of them. They got manufacturing facilities, Litchfield, Minnesota, Bismarck, North Dakota, Gwinner, North Dakota. I think some of it's done in Dickinson. There's some stuff in Georgia, some stuff in North Carolina. So yeah, all over the place. But I don't know what to tell you about this thing. It looks like they used some of the ROPS from a regular skid steer. It looks like we're missing a handle there. Looks like whoever restored this thing got a lot of overspray. Looks like the interior needs some work. Let's just jump right into it. I know a lot about cars, but I don't know a ton about these things. Looks like a lot of hydraulic hoses to blow. Duff's hanging out in the Suburban because the highway is right there, and I don't want to lose him. Don't want him to get hit on the highway. We got some other stuff we got to haul later, so we got the trailer. I brought minimal tools, so I guess first thing we're going to do is we're just going to pull the battery out of it, and then we're going to put a battery in it and see if it cranks over. Probably check the oil and stuff first. So, let's open the tailgate. This thing is heavier than most car doors. Ugh. Most entire cars, I guess. So, whenever this thing was painted was when the battery was put in. You can tell by the way that it is.
This is an aspen. You can tell that it's an aspen tree because of the way it is.
Looks like the oil hydraulic filter was just changed in 1994. So yeah, that's what, a long time ago, 29 years. It's got an Isuzu diesel. It's got oil in it. Is there any hydraulic puddles underneath, or has it all leaked out? Looks pretty good. I'm sure this is a really quality piece. They didn't even pressure wash the grease out of it when they painted it. There's a good little rubber flap back here for keeping the trees out of your engine bay. All right, coolant, yeah. I'm guessing you should be able to read that if this thing wasn't completely sacked out. There's a little bit of coolant in there. Looks like it's got a Delco alternator behind the belt guard there. Belt guard still in place. Fuel filters down there, hydraulic valve blocks over there. Looks like your throttle is a mechanical lever and it's there. I suppose we should make sure that's free before we light her off. We don't want this thing to run away. Or maybe we do, I don't know. Museum and or whoever owns this machine, I'm guessing Bobcat still owns it, would not be happy if I did that. Let's check the throttle. All right, throttle's free. I don't know what that switch does, probably for lights or something. Let's crawl in here and give you a tour of this thing. I'm guessing this was the wipers, but as you can see, it's no longer necessary. Start at the bottom, left pedal. One of them's your lift and one of them's your tilt. I own a skid steer that has these, but I think left is your lift and right is your tilt, so whatever. Back or up, I don't know. This is drive on the left, forward, drive on the left, reverse. Same thing over here, forward, reverse. These little doohickeys are your interlocks, so you can't lift up and down unless you got the seat bar in place, like so. Got 3,000 hours on this hot rod. There's our key, battery, some fuses, throttle. I don't know what that's. Why you have a throttle light? Overspeed maybe? Hydraulic. This is your headlight switch. And fuel. What's with the throttle? Like, why is there a throttle gauge? It tells you what RPM you're at? This is interesting. So I don't know how you run Feller Buncher unit thinger up here. Looks like there's 3 cylinders on that grabber, and there must be one on the bottom. So I'm guessing, oh, there's pew, 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 pew. Mom's away. So there's 2 there, and another guy down here. So, I don't know. Maybe one's the horn, too. And then over here, you just gotta figure out which wires to touch together. And we still don't know what that guy does down there. So this should go great. Let's just see if we can get it running first and go from there. It's got a nice moonroof, and you got these 1-inch square tubing so that a tree doesn't come through and stab you through your face. Oh, and then we got the cylinder on the back to raise up and down. There's a lot of hydraulics on this thing that were probably controlled by these that probably don't work anymore, because we're aimed at the moon the way I'm sitting in here. We gotta get those cylinders up so you sit level. All right, what do we need here? Looks like a 1/2 inch. Kind of brought limited tools with the old toe pig today. 12 millimeter? No, can't be. Let's put a 1/2 inch on it and just round it off. Full send. Okay. All right. We're just gonna do it the old-fashioned way, rip it off. It's clean at least. Of course, I didn't bring anything to clean cables with. Well, here's our first debacle. The old crimp let loose on the positive. It's got a workaholic from Interstate. I wonder if there's a date. Yuck, battery dust. So we're gonna have to use the locking pliers on that guy. Oh, there's a battery cutoff switch. It's made by Cole Hershey. It's a good one. When you hear that clunk, that's when you know she's a solid switch. The landscaping crew is also present. They're working on Memorial Day like we are. You guys are sitting at home watching a live video, the fresh new video of the rollback. If we had that thing running, we could just load this up, drag it home and work on it, but we're waiting on parts. So, here we are, working on Memorial Day, and you guys are watching a fresh Mortske video. Memorial Mortske Monday, the Triple M threat. All right, enough rambling. I'm gonna go get a locking pliers. Ugh, this asphalt's hard on the knees. Found a moving blanket on the tow pig. Always good to have in the back of your SUV. Now, we're gonna use this locking pliers as a temporary, oh look, these will reach way out here. What? Oh, we might be golden. I may not slide the battery in there. Well, Tiffany said, just reach that battery up there. We won't be able to drive it, but we'll see. You don't want your locking pliers, if it's the positive side, to touch the chassis on a 12 volt positive. Hear any noises yet? I wonder which way is on and which way is off. Well, let's go try the key switch. I guess you guys watch to see if the crank turns over. Nothing. Let's try the other way. Oh, sure enough, there's off and on right there. Durka-dur. Durka-dur. No way. Typical diesel, it almost started right up. That's why I don't do many Will It Runs on diesels, because they just go. The fuel doesn't really go bad. If you got fuel to the cylinders and compression, they're gonna go. So, where's our fuel shutoff solenoid? Probably would have been a good thing to check out earlier. So basically on a diesel, is since you, on a gas engine, you kill power to the ignition system, that's how you shut it off. On a diesel, you cut off fuel to the engine. So a lot of older equipment just had a lever, and they would engage a plunger, disengage a plunger, no longer providing fuel to the fuel rail, kills the engine. Later diesels, current diesels, have a fuel shutoff solenoid, and that solenoid opens and closes, and that's what shuts off fuel going to the injection pump, to the cylinders, whatever you want to say. So we got to find that and see if it's engaging or disengaging, because I'm guessing we got compression. We got no way to fix compression. So let's check that first before we start giving her the old ether. There's a drain valve on the fuel filter. Let's see if we get fuel out the fuel filter. And it's stuck, of course. There's a bleeder screw on the fuel filter, because if you got air in the system, it's not going to start. I don't see any fuel down there. Where's the fuel shutoff solenoid, Mr. Isuzu? Coming from, not the boat industry, but just from being on boats, there's this primer bulb. Because you're always taking the tank off the old boats and putting a different tank on. So you got to squeeze the fuel up to the carburetor on your outboard. We're not getting any fuel. That's going to be a problem. So usually what you do if you run out of fuel, or if you put a new fuel filter on, is you'll crack this bleeder here. And then you'll squeeze that primer bulb until you get fuel coming out here, so that way you know that you got all the air out. And then you close that off. Give her a couple more pumps till it gets hard.
That's what she said.
And then you should have fuel up to your fuel pump, and she should light off. But we're not getting fuel. We got this cracked open, we're not getting any fuel, and you can hear air. And the ball is not getting hard. So we need some diesel fuel. See if Muffin's got a service truck he can run over here and put some diesel fuel on for us. Or we just got to hook it up to a separate tank. And I did not bring an extra tank. All right, just got a hold of Muffin. He said, yeah, go take my service truck. Should be some fuel in there. And I don't know why I didn't think of this before, but that thing's full of tools. Instead of me throwing a handful of tools in the tow pig, let's just go steal Muffin's service truck. Got our battery cable unhooked, so this thing don't burn down while we're gone. And there's kind of what we brought with. A tripod, some ether, some gear wrenches, some sockets, a couple of locking pliers. I think there's a pair of screwdrivers in there too. And of course, you know, some celebration sandwiches. It's Mango Tango Monday. These things are good. Give them a shot. Golden Road Brewing Company. And some sodas. And some water. It's early yet. I don't even think it's 10 a.m. So we're not having sandwiches yet. Let's go get Muffin's brand new, well, it's a year old Ford service truck. And hate our lives because of how awesome that is compared to our hot garbage that we use. This thing isn't so bad, is it, Duff? He likes it. Maya, you fatty. You're such a big puppy. Oh, yeah, you're like a big polar bear. Oh, you big fatty. Big fat fatty. Who's a big girl? Oh, that big girl, yeah. You gonna let us take your big white service truck? Oh, you're so nice. Duff, you gonna play nice with Maya? If all else fails, just run away. You can run faster than her. You're not much for running, Maya, we know. Oh man, barely got any stains in the vinyl seats. Oh, what a peasant. Doesn't even have electric seats. 3,800 miles.
Lost.
I'm not lost. All right, you got the whole back to yourself. Duff! Maya, you can't come with. You gotta keep an eye on the farm. God, you're such a big girl. Who's a big girl? Is that a big wood tick on your face? No, that's a scratch. That's just a scratch. That's just a scratch. Yeah. Duff, hey. Oh, let's do this. No, we're not gonna take that truck. We're taking the service truck. Oh boy. Duff, load up. See you later, Maya. You gotta stay here. You keep an eye on the place. We'll bring you some Twix or something. Maybe a Snickers. You're not yourself when you're hungry.
You're not you when you're hungry.
What do you think of this thing, Duff? Oh, look, a horseshoe. And a couple coolers. Anything good in them? Some snacks for Maya? Ooh, Michelob Ultras. Muffin must be on a diet. Oil change required, it says. Only 3,800 miles. Oh, she's got a backup alarm. Beep, beep, beep. Oh, and a camera? What a deal. This is way too fancy for us. Oh, it's got a turbo PSI. I think we can spool that sucker up to 40. I see no point in not trying. I mean, it's not ours. We got a Kenwood radio. Breaker 19. This is the rubber duck.
Breaker 19, this here's a rubber duck.
All right, quit screwing around. Let's go try to figure out how to get fuel out of this thing and into something else. Okay, what do all these switches do? Work lights, compartment lights. Oh, I just want to flip them all, but I won't. I guess first thing is we got to figure out where the fuel switch is at. God, look at all this stuff we got in here. What a deal, all labeled. Big old breaker bar. We got to find out where the switch is and where the fuel pump is at. I think he said on the right hand side. We got a vise. We got air. Oh, he said it's the, well, it's the red reel, but yeah, green handle. That one's for DEF, I presume. Where's the switch at? No switch. Grease guns, pry bars, torches. Is there anything this thing can't do? Switches. Oh, look, a douche tool. I bet he uses that a lot. Air chucks, Chuck Norris's, hitches, magnets, refrigerant, fire extinguisher. Hopefully we don't need that. Maybe it's this one? We're gonna have literally everything open. Hitran, coolant, zip ties, everything but the switch we need. Is this a Redding box? It is a Redding. I think they're out of Redding, Pennsylvania. I mounted the 19.5s on his new Alcoa wheels for him when he got this thing. Oh, I should tell him he needs bigger washers on his bracket. Once he sees this video, he'll be mad. He'll be like, dang it! And I bet he changes them right away, because that's how Muffin is. I found it. I'm guessing that's the switch. Let's close all these up so we don't bang our melon on them. Now, we gotta find out where the fuel tank is on this thing. That says hydraulic oil. Let's see just how empty it is. It won't even be on the stick. Sure enough. Oh, it's just barely on there. Good thing we picked up Muffin's service truck full of Hitran. You can tell it leaks because of the way that those are.
Because of the way it is.
Oh, they did tape off the cylinders when they painted it at least. Wow. Professional. Found it. Smells like diesel. Good to go. Never dealt with a hose this big. Okay, apparently it's full. I guess we could have checked the gauge first. All right, let's put the cap back on. Yeah, she is full to the brim. I guess we got compressed air now. If we can figure out how to run that, we can blow some air back through the line. Maybe there's some crap at the bottom of the tank plugging it up. I don't know. Let's see if we can get fuel to the filter. Look at this handy dandy. Every filter wrench size you'll ever need, except for the one that we need. There we go. Well, you just gotta make sure you put it on the right way. Who makes these? Right Fit, not a paid sponsor. All right. Not getting any fuel there. That's gonna be a problem. Fuel looks okay-ish though. Now we're getting fuel. All right, spin that back on quick. I love the smell of diesel fuel on my fingers in the morning. Getting all kinds of fuel. There you can see it running out the bleeder. Ready tight, lefty loosey. Okay, it's tight. Definitely don't wipe his tools off before we put them away. Apparently somebody's had an issue before because there's no hose clamp on there, and there was one before, so somebody's pulled that off. Let's see if she lights off now. But first, let's hook a battery cable up. I guess if it does run away, we just gotta cover that guy up, and it's not gonna get any air. So a runaway diesel is when basically it revs to the moon and runs away and explodes. And you don't want that to happen. So if you can't shut off the fuel, shut off the air. Easy enough, right? Let's see what happens. Slingshot. Engage.
Slingshot engaged.
Hey, fuel solenoid's working. We even got a little insulation out of the exhaust. That old Isuzu, she runs good. Well, let's get the battery in there because I want to be able to move this thing around. So let's get the battery slid in place, and then we will put some hydraulic oil in it, and I guess go from there. See if we can't figure out all the electrical inside. Well, let's just get it driving, and then we'll try to figure out how to grab things and squish them. They probably don't want me taking any trees down here at the conservation office, which conveniently is next door to the museum. I feel like they like trees. We all like trees, Greta.
How dare you!
Except for people who run these for a living. Well, they probably like them because that's what they do for a living. If they didn't have trees, they wouldn't have a job. Shout out to Yeah Boy, our battery sponsor this week. Without battery sponsors, these things can't happen. If you want to be a battery sponsor, check out mortske.com, and you can get all kinds of sweet trinkets and swag and keychains and screwdrivers. And hopefully the Bic pens are working now, and decals, all the decals. How are we going to clamp this so that it doesn't touch on anything and melt us down to death? We just had a big hose clamp. I wonder if Muffin's got any hose clamps in there. That would be the cat's pajamas. Let's look, see what we can find in this hot rod. $100,000 service truck, and this is our best hose clamp option. That thing looks pretty. It's got about as many teeth as a family in Pot County, Oklahoma. But it's gonna have to work. Next best is this one. I don't think it's gonna go small enough. Let's see if we can even get it to tighten up past the Pot County dentistry. Let me guess, it'll clamp in place. It'll get the right tightness right at that point where there's no teeth. Muffin, you need a hose clamp assortment in your service truck. You know, everybody talks about how handy zip ties are, but hose clamps, they're pretty dang handy in their own right. Sure enough, that's where she's stripped out right there. I got an idea. Just kidding. When looking for a nut driver, I found an amazing assortment of brand new, never been used hose clamps. So Muffin, I take back everything I said about your hose clamp collection. It ain't dumb if it works. All right, should be a real good connection there. Shouldn't have to worry about it rubbing against anything. If we would have had a locking pliers bouncing around in there. We're gonna just go ahead and dispose of that for Muffin. It even was an ideal. Those used to be good ones. Maybe they're not good anymore. A lot of things used to be good. Locking pliers used to be good, and then frickin' Irwin bought them, and now they're hot garbage. So you gotta find the good old ones made by Peterson. Like that one, Peterson, DeWitt, Nebraska. Heck yeah. I think that's military surplus. That's a military number on there, I'm pretty sure. Old Puddin hooked me up with that. One of his buddies had a bunch of military surplus tools he was parting with, so I grabbed all his good locking pliers. Put some hydraulic oil in this thing. I think this is a cap and a breather, sure enough. Oh yeah. I'm guessing they sandblasted this thing, and nobody cap that off, so I'm sure the hydraulic system's real happy about that. Well, this could have been causing our issues. There's a shutoff valve on the fuel right there. It's open, but I would have never seen that until I put hydraulic oil in, which I wouldn't have put hydraulic oil until it was running. Looks like there was a door here, guard, so that branches didn't rip that son of a biscuit off. A little guard here protecting those things. This thing was all guarded up. This is like the Brinks truck of skid steers. It's a 1213 if I didn't tell you that. I have no idea what that stands for. It goes 1 mile an hour. It's got 2 joysticks, 1 front door, and 3 wheels per side. That's what it stands for. Yep, 1 mile an hour, 2 joysticks, 3 wheels per side. I don't remember what that other one is for. 1 engine. Yep, that's it. Hy-Tran should be fine, seeing how this is got a hydrostatic transmission, right? Well, that's what we got, and we're not paying for it, so yeah. Pretty sure. Oh, son of a biscuit. Sorry, Greta.
How dare you?
Giving her to a little too fast, apparently. Ah, there's some giant black flies, and of course they're biting me when I'm trying to concentrate on pouring. Okay, it's full. And we're making a mess. All right, let's see if I can figure out how to run this thing. It's nice knowing you if I die. I'm gonna put my seatbelt on, you know, for safety. Hopefully it latches and unlatches. If not, I got my knife in my pocket. We'll be cutting it off. Or whoever put the seatbelt on last was much skinnier than me. Here we go. And I got nothing. Oh, it's just real slow. There we go. Well, as you can see, I wanted to get her backed in there, but she don't want to turn, so we're going to try to put a little bit more oil in it. I think it's just low on oil. The hydraulics are uber slow. Let's try forcing some more Hy-Tran down her throat and see what happens. I was only able to get the lift and tilt to work. I couldn't get the feller buncher to bunch, and I couldn't get the cylinder on the rear axle to work, but we're just going to get it moved into a new spot, and our job here is done. Looks like we got a fuel leak of sorts. Maybe we should address. It's coming off the filter head here. Oh, sure enough, our bleeder ain't sealing off. I guess we're just gonna have to turn the valve off for now and plug it off that way, unless we can tighten that bleeder up. Locking pliers to save the day. We'll crank her down. I think we're probably gonna need a new bleeder. There we go. Did it seal? Did it fix it? Oh, not quite. Give her a little bit more. That or a chunk of crap got in between there. Attaboy. Sealed her off. Good enough for the girls we go with. Hopefully it's low on Hy-Tran. If it's... Oh yeah, we gotta put some more Hyde oil in. It just goes in so dang slow on this thing. Maybe the filter's plugged up. Maybe we'll just take that filter out of there. If you put clean oil in, you don't need to filter it, right? That's what the 1994 hydrostatic filter's for. Now let's check the dipstick, Jimmy. Still low. Hopefully don't need more than 2.5 gallons. Oh boy. It's gonna take all of Muffin's Hy-Tran. Good news is if we overfill it, it self-levels off the amount of fluid in there due to the ventilation somewhere in the system. Got our 2.5 gallons in and still not on the stick. Well, let's try it now. Guess we gotta go get some more Hy-Tran. On Memorial Day Monday, we're probably SOL unless we can find a farmer who's hanging out in their shop. Well, let's see if we can do a better job of getting this thing to turn and get her back in the spot here. The old Star Car conversion axle didn't survive the roof falling on it, so this thing got brand new tires on her. Some Power King 650 16s. It's even got a Star Motors badge on the engine built by Continental Motors. All right, back to diesel things. parked in the lineup. I think we're gonna have to get a battery cable and get some more Hitran. Probably take that door off and either get a new one or just huck that. We don't need a door on it for display. And once we get the building rebuilt, we can put her back inside the old Sargent County Museum. Come check this place out if you haven't. It's right along Highway 32 here in beautiful Foreman, North Dakota. You can see Kirschman Sprock Hoops, Star home built little tractor rigs. That thing's got new tires on the back, even flat tire on the Sprock Coupe. M600 Bobcat. This thing's all electric. I think it was for being in a mine. Pretty neat unit. Yeah, Bobcat was going green way before the Priuses or the Teslas, the original Tesla. Look at that big electric motor in there. That thing's got a Volkswagen in it. And this thing's made out of a Model T, a John Deere, and a water wagon. Oh, look at this. Right here, we could have got our hose clamps off the old Model T tractor conversion. So there you have it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you had a great Memorial Day and you got something done or just maybe enjoyed yourself. I'm not much good at this relaxing thing that everybody talks about, so this is what I do on my holidays. Work, because I don't know anything else. So check out the merch, mortske.com. Get yourself a shirt, get yourself a screwdriver, get whatever. We got it all. We don't got it all. We got some stuff in-house. So thank you to everybody who has made an order. We really appreciate it. It helps us fund stuff like this, and you know, maybe someday we'll get a really cool service truck like that, or maybe just an old one that's well equipped. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching us get this 1213 Bobcat 6-wheeled feller buncher thing of awesomeness. That'd be really cool to have one of these to pick up cars and just to pinch stuff with. I don't know. Remember, it doesn't matter how you get it done as long as you are having fun. Getting stuff running is fun. Volunteering your time for the museum is fun. So check this place out, Sargent County Museum. It's a really great place. They got tons of buildings full of really awesome stuff. Unfortunately, this was the stuff in the building that the roof came down on. And there's a lot more of it, and that stuff's getting shipped around and stored to different places and fixed and yada yada yada. But yeah, there's a lot of great stuff still inside these buildings. So on to the next one.